So whenever I think of Yara rules, a good correlation would be to just think of file patterns and matching files with rules. So it could be rules that I created, or it could be rules from specific tools. And in this video, I'm going to pretty much use a tool called Loki, which pretty much is a Yara rule that creates rules based on indicators of compromise, and it bases it off of four key methods. So we have the file name. We have the Yara rule that's based off of a signature of predefined attributes. Then we have hash checks. Um, this compares known malicious hashes that are known. And then we have IP addresses, which matches against a command and control server. So this command and control server is going to be very key for an attacker whenever they're initiating their attack. Let's say they want to exfiltrate some information. They're going to exfiltrate that information onto that C2C server so that the data that the data that they're extracting can go somewhere. So Loki pretty much based on the file that we want to scan will match that against, I guess you could call it a repository of known attacks. So instead of us creating a rule like we would in the regular Yara version, we can pretty much go ahead and just specify the file name, and we can output that information and get a lot of information. We can tell whether the file is malicious, whether it's good to go. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get to work. So the scenario is you are the security analyst for a mid-sized law firm. A coworker discovered suspicious files on a web server within your organization. These files were discovered while performing updates to the corporate website. The files have been copied to your machine for analysis. The files are located in the suspicious files directory. Use Loki to answer the questions below. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here. Let's see. So we're going to go to tools, but I do see suspicious files. See. All right, so in order to run the Loki application, we need to do Python and Loki, which is already installed, .py, and then do -p. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, -p, and then let's do suspicious. The file name is suspicious files. And we're doing file 1 right now. Got a typo here. All right, so now I see Loki, and it's giving us a bunch of information to go off of. We have the file, suspicious file. We have the PHP size, a lot of good information. We have the bytes. We have the MD5 hash, SHA-1 hash. And first thing to notice, so this is a big one, suspicious objects detected. So that's the answer to our first question. Does Loki detect this file as suspicious, malicious, or benign? And it's definitely suspicious. I just think that's really cool. We, instead of having, I keep misspelling that word, S-U-S, Are you kidding me? Suspi. Am I misspelling it? Wow. Clicking the wrong button. Okay, so what Yara rule did it match on? So looks like it matched. So we see match here, web shell, meta SL soft. What kind of see? All right, then got a lot of code here. See if we can get some information about a web shell. So web shells are malicious scripts that enable threat actors to compromise web servers and launch additional attacks. Threat actors first penetrate a system or network and then install a web shell. From this point onwards, they use it as a permanent backdoor into the targeted web applications and any connected systems. So it looks like this is not just an ordinary file. So the person that was these files were to discover one for me. These files that make up a new machine. Okay, so that was the file. It is a web shell meta SL soft file. Rule actually. So it's gonna be web shell meta. All right. What does Loki classify this file as? So let's check the description. It's a web shell, and I kind of went over that. So web shell. So, and I think here is an important part because this is where it's pretty much showing what it's checking for patterns from. So we have the C2 server, we have hashes, different hashes, we have a false positive. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. Based on the output, what string within the Yara rule did it match on? So let's see. Based on the output, which string? So that's str1. What is the name and version of this hack tool? Let's see. Check first bytes. Check first bytes. First bytes. So like it's a B37 4K 2.2. Two dot two. Inspect the actual Yara file that flagged file one. Within this rule, how many strings are there to flag this file? So, hmm. So it looks like there's one warning here. It's asking how many strings are there to flag this file. It's like it could be one warning. Okay. All right. So far, I have been able to pretty much figure out a good amount of information about this file. So first and foremost, we know that this is not a safe file to be opening on the network. So if this file would have been opened on the network, it would have compromised based on what we found that this is a, what is the attack? It's a web shell meta. So soft, it would have allowed the attacker to have a web shell, and he would have had a permanent backdoor into the target web application. And they could have been able to do this, exfiltrating and harvesting sensitive information, defacing websites by modifying or adding files, uploading malware, SQL injection, so many things. So this file was rightfully scanned. So the next question is scan file 2. Does Loki detect this file as suspicious, malicious, or benign? So we're gonna exit and we're gonna do scan file 2. All right, let's see. So we're gonna do Python. -p. Suspicious. Dash files. Dash file 2. And this is file 2. So the first thing I think needs to be seen is this right here. First off, we see there's 0 warnings, which is good. This is the info, this is scanning, this is the file. So we specify the file. Got hash information. It scanned for hashes. It didn't see any. You see last time here, we got a bunch of different hashes, but this time, not as many. We didn't get any. And then it says, system seems to be clean. The main difference between this one and this one is this file said, suspicious objects detected. Loki recommends a deeper analysis of the suspicious objects. So here we can answer the next question. It's suspicious, malicious, or benign. So it's more benign. Inspect file 2. What is the name and version of this web shell? So in order to scan file 2, I'll do this. I'll go ahead and do a head and see if they can give us information. What is that? I didn't mean to refresh that. Let's see, read the comments in the file. Okay, kind of messed that one up. So I refreshed. So let me go back. And then so I already did the first one. I'm just gonna go to the second Loki .py -p. 2. She only gives this. All right. And then I'll do C Loki.py. See. All right, so I'm trying to get into this. This is this suspicious files 2, but I don't need to see the Loki. I more want to see the actual file itself. So, there's no too many arguments. See, how do they specify suspicious status files directory? No such file directory. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can go to suspicious. All right, let's see what's in here. So there we go. We want file 2, and we want head, first 20 lines, minus the numbers 20. Actually, let's do this first. All right, so now I can do head minus n 20 Eocs dot php. All right. So this is the file that didn't come up with anything malicious. So let's answer the question, what is the name and version of this web shell? So pretty much we see GitHub 2014, Jayla. So it's gonna shell, looks like it's gonna be, what's the format? Dot 3.2.3. Okay, so it looks like it's gonna be this. B37 4K and 3.2.3. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, so we pretty much were able to use Loki, hope I'm saying that right, to first off check and see if this a coworker discovered a suspicious file. So we scanned it. We didn't even need to create our own Yara rule. We pretty much used Loki, which had IOC modules or methods already into their system. So we saw hashes, we saw the IP address, and we also saw Yara rules that was created. The Yara rule that it matched was the web shell Metasoft, and it told us that it was suspicious. So, and if it would have opened, it would have given the attacker the ability to do these things: to face website, harvesting sensitive information, and uploading malware. We saw the hack tool, the version of the hack tool. Then we also checked the second file and saw that it was benign. And we saw the version of this web shell, which was this B37 4K 3.2.3. We confirm that it says system seems to be clean. And we can confirm that it scanned the correct file because it is file 2. And then hashing, and then see the C2 server indicators. And yeah, so this is pretty interesting tool to use if I'm trying to scan a file to see if it has malicious content on it, or if it's going to be malicious if opened up.